I just don't want to believe it, guys, but it happens just about every single week. I feel like we're breaking down some pro players tied to professional esports organizations just saying things and doing things that you should not. I know this is going to be debatable for a few eyes out there, but that being Dallas Fuel, of course, under the umbrella of the Envy organization, having to let it go. Another pro player, this time again from the Overwatch team, who has already lost several members. I'll probably talk about this weekend. If you guys are a diehard Dallas Fuel fan, the Overwatch scene itself is already struggling with many pros leaving for Valorant. The Dallas Fuel is extremely under fire this past week. I believe losing now 2 players and 2 different coaches within 2 to 3 days. You can imagine rebuilding that is quite the difficulty. They had no idea this one was coming. It was actually around their pro player known as HarryHook, who has since been removed and fired from that roster because of resurfacing messages and conversations from months back where he was speaking about a particular woman in a very demeaning way, referring to her as, or even sometimes them as in women, as in the B word, biatches, and the W word, the really hard W word. You know what I'm trying to say? And with these resurfacing conversations, guys, Envy and the Dallas Fuel really had no choice. I'm going to show you guys those messages because unfortunately, I can't say those words. I wouldn't want to say them anyway, but I'll let you guys get a better painted picture of what the kind of language he actually was using. He then later took to Twitter to try and clarify his position, which was really not apologizing for what happened at all. And it didn't really look good for the pro player who has now been removed from the organization. As he finally took to Twitter to state, not going to make a big deal of it. I tried to help this person for some time, and all I was getting crapped on. This person want more than just being friends. I told her no. She wanted more attention. Well, I can't give it. That's it. Sorry for calling some girls the W word. And later in response to a different tweet that said, "This is one of the worst apologies I've seen in my life," he replied, Is 2020 and I'm getting fired for saying some girls are the W word. Like they are pure as F. You never did anything wrong. F off. And all I'm going to say on this is what I usually say when it comes time for these kind of circumstances. Now, I do not know if the roles were reversed, if an organization would treat this situation the same way. If you said this about a guy as opposed to a girl, would an organization treat this the same way? That is not for me to say for an organization like Envy. Envy, by the way, has become, I would say, somewhat very well known for having not so much leniency on these kind of things, and I respect their choice, especially because here is my perspective. You guys are always open to your own. Feel free to leave a comment down below. When it comes for these kind of actions that are taken by a professional player who represents your organization and whatever team underneath your umbrella, you do not want to face the backlash for their actions. You do not want to somewhat what people might call endorse or actually pay a player of yours who is taking these remarks and then doubling down on Twitter, by the way, not even apologizing after those said things surfaced. If you guys remember back, Envy did a very similar thing for their Call of Duty team, removing a pro who made some very sensitive comments. They have a very short leash for this, and I cannot blame them for that because when you are a professional player, you are held to a higher standard than the normal person out there. As much as you maybe don't want to believe that, I don't believe what he said is appropriate. And the fact, the way he reacted and doubled down, I don't think his career is over. I think it will be hindered for some time. And I wish him the best of luck in the future. And hopefully he can learn from this, because what I've seen from his Twitter is that he has not learned from this, which I do somewhat understand. But it's not our job to analyze if the roles were reversed. I hope the organization would treat it the same way, but the fact is this, the rules are the way they are, and the fact you talked about women or a woman in particular like this, it's not a good look for the organization, and that is why they severed those ties. I agree, we're in very difficult times of this cancel culture, but I don't think he's been canceled entirely, and again, I wish him the best of luck in the future, of course, with his endeavors, and that being Overwatch. But I also respect and uphold the decision made by the Dallas Fuel to remove ties with said pro player. It just so happens to be in a very poor timed week where they're already losing just about half a roster within a couple of days. A very unfortunate circumstance, and I hope everyone can learn going forward. You know, the more situations we see like this, I hope other pro players can look at this and go, maybe I shouldn't be saying some things that I'm saying behind closed doors, because, you know, those closed doors seemingly can always be opened back up whenever they are. Until next time, hope you guys all enjoy. Drink that water, drink that coffee. Hopefully a happier story coming next, all right? Take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys back here sometime soon.